Okay, well, let's get started. Welcome, everyone. I'm Rebecca Gregory, the Education and Technical Director for Simply Organic Beauty, the exclusive distribution for all of the Oway brand. And we are so excited to chat with you about the new H Nectar shades and about the line in general, because we've really chosen a very pure ingredient coming from nature to revolutionize the concept of not only color but also giving you a regenerating treatment as well. It's a nectar-based hair color, so I'm going to talk a lot about the ingredients and the differences between those ingredients and the H color from Oway as well. But this is such a unique color line. And so when people ask me often, how to compare it to another brand or another color line they've used in the past, it truly cannot be compared to anything else. It is, however, ammonia-free, PPD-free, resorcinol-free, fragrance-free, alcohol-free, and it's cruelty-free and vegan. So very unique, specialized nectar-based hair color. And so we're now offering a huge palette of multifaceted nuances, and they all have this very lovely sparkle, and it really has beautiful fashion effects. It covers gray, but we're going to dive deeper into that in just a moment. The thing on this slide is the fact that we here at Simply Organic Beauty love to distribute healthier beauty products to the industry of professional industry. And so these are some of the standards that we like to use when we're picking or choosing hair color lines or professional beauty products to share with all of you. So these standards are something that we really benefit from offering and partnering with these brands. So this is very important to us here at Simply Organic Beauty. And H Nectar really surpasses any color line I've ever worked with. So H Nectar, this is truly the first color infusion with integrated hair replumping. And what that means is it's actually making the hair healthier over time. It's a beneficial plant-based hair coloring and regenerating system. We do use vegetable nectars, biodynamic and organic ingredients. Organic cotton proteins are part of that. And then we use fair trade ingredients as well. So we're giving back to all of our communities worldwide. And we also have ecological packaging. Now, once again, this is a color line that is without ammonia, so no toxic fumes used with this product, no PPDs, no resorcinol, mineral oils, alcohol, or synthetic fragrance. So that's amazing because a lot of times people hide different toxic substances or ingredients inside fragrance. And so this is the first color infusion with integrated hair replumping that is very, very, very amazing for many reasons. Now, when we're talking about this brand and when to decide when to use the H Nectar over maybe another color combination such as H color, it's truly these would be our target customers. For customers preferring like delicate color infusions that are very natural looking, their end result very shiny, and they're wanting to get away from like those conventional dyes, and they want the hair to really feel silky and shiny and bright. So, or anyone that's looking to maybe color their hair for the first time and they're coming into the hair color world, but they don't want to use all the toxic elements that they have seen in the past. And so something more natural in the final effect. It's also great for customers that have delicate or sensitive scalps, or they're just looking for something truly top notch in their coloring treatment. If your clients have maybe fragile or fine hair types or have been overly treated or colored before, this is a nice way of offering them something that's more intense, progressive, and it has a restorative action during that actual hair color treatment. So it's actually restoring their hair progressively over each color experience. So it's also great for those who want a clean or safe coloring session with you. But ideally, the whole effect with using the H Nectar brand is that it's actually very, very moisturizing to the hair. It gives the hair more elasticity. It brightens the hair faded from maybe sun exposure or somebody that's been out in the pool or chlorine from the pool or maybe out on the beach. So it's actually moisturizing and giving back elasticity for many reasons because of the beautiful ingredients inside the formula. It's also a perfect way to tone or enhance and also replump hair that's maybe been stressed repeatedly over time, or even those with a lot of damage or repeated lightening. So I'm going to go very deep into how to use these as brighteners or toners and the whys behind offering that to your client. So these are your target customers when you're introducing this line into your salons. The benefits of the H-Nectar, there's so many, but these are just a few. So it's a nectar-based coloring infusion treatment, which I'll dive deeper in when I get into the ingredient portion here. But there are 41 shades now. So we've added to the shades. We've added 7 new shades to the line. So now we have 41 permanent ammonia-free and PPD-free shades. So anyone that has a PPD allergen or sensitivity, this is ideal for them. It also has the green sugars, which green sugars are actually going to improve the moisture levels inside the hair and giving it that elasticity. So beautiful for those with curly hair that are requiring a lot of intense moisture to lock in those curl. And it also has a very reflective coverage. I like to use the word reflective. It makes the hair really natural and beautiful when you're coloring it versus that really heavy opaque color that you may be used to with other lines. You can get up to 3 levels of lift. So I know a lot of people were asking, can I get lift out of this color line? And you certainly can, up to 3 levels. And then it's actually restructuring the hair inside that fabric. So that's what's giving intense shine. And so this is actually what I consider a coloring treatment. So unlike anything else, it's not just a liquid toner. It really is improving the structure of the hair over time. And each treatment gets better and better, improving the quality of your hair fabric. So the H-Nectar, some of the benefits are it's ideal for those clients, like I mentioned, that may have sensitivities to hair color and are almost ready to give up hair color altogether. You can refresh and enhance tones. You can tone the hair with these as well. Mid-lengths to ends, it's a beautiful option for refreshing that hair fabric and also improving the hair health over time. So it truly is a 2-in-1 color and rebuilding treatment. So it's a rejuvenation all over of the actual hair structure. So it's improving that hair health every time you work with it. You can have hair lift because it's the intense structure, inside the structure, it's actually regenerating that hair each time. And you're going to get more of a sheer kind of coverage, but it's beautiful even with gray clients. So the hair will really have more of the coverage like a BB cream versus a foundational makeup. And it also is a cruelty-free and vegan option for you to offer your clients. So it's increasing the shine and the reflection of the hair every time. The hair is very soft and silky to the touch from just that first application, and your client's going to notice right away. So there's a lot of people that are scared to color their hair, and that hair fabric is starting to look really fuzzy or frizzy. And this is a perfect opportunity, and that's a perfect customer for you to offer this to. So let's talk about some of the key ingredients here. The organic Papamiel nectar. Now, this is a beautiful, beautiful hydrating ingredient. It's also very soothing. So anybody with sensitivities, this is a very soothing type of ingredient. Now, there are amino acids that are in this specific ingredient are actually helping to revitalize the hair while adding shine. Now, it has a plumping action to it, so that hair's bound to feel thicker and plump. And it also has an anti-aging effect on that hair fabric because of the high concentration of the sugars. Now, sugars hold on to tons of moisture. So it's a very, very wonderful benefit to having this nectar specifically in the formula, in the screen chemistry. Fair trade yerba mate. Now, fair trade yerba mate, now this is 90% higher in antioxidants than even green tea. So it's known as the elixir of life, health, and vitality due to the ability to reduce free radicals and signs of aging. In this one of the key benefits that I love most about this being inside this green formulation is that it promotes hair growth. So many people are having a lot of hair loss issues for multiple reasons, and this is actually an ingredient built inside the H-Nectar formula that's going to help promote hair growth. Also helps to retain cell vitality, prevent aging. This is green gold, or it's also got a lot of specific oxi it's basically going to help to retain any of that cell vitality. It's helping to regenerate that hair over time. I think the biggest thing is that it's very high in antioxidative um, properties, so it's going to help over time to be that anti-radical. Now, organic mallow nectar, this is beautiful inside because it's also nourishing and regenerating and energizing and revitalizing that hair fabric. This is the Papamiel, excuse me, mallow nectar is excellent for those with sensitive skin types as well because it's very soothing, anti-inflammatory, but also for the actual hair fabric, it's going to soften and elasticize that hair, and it's going to reduce any likelihood of any continued sensitivities on your scalp. So the mallow nectar, it's a polysaccharide rich, and that's what's helping to give that soothing effect to the skin. Next, biodynamic elderberry. Now this is what's going to help additionally treat hair loss, and that's what's adding a lot of brightness and shine to the hair based on the sugars and things that are also found in here, but it's promoting longer, healthier hair. So the elderberry is basically considered like magic. So it's going to help with dull, lifeless hair, give back that brightness and shine. It's very reflective. Now, we didn't mention the cotton proteins yet, but the cotton proteins are not only helping to revitalize the hair strength, but also to hold on additional moisture and elasticity for the hair. So all of these built-in nectars and the elderberry nectar and the yerba mate, and also now the cotton proteins, they're really going into the hair fiber where those chains are, and not only giving back the moisture that's necessary to hair fabric, but also strength. So you're getting that plump effect to the hair, and you're actually helping those that are treating hair loss. So a lot of people shy away from getting their hair colored when they're working with hair loss, but this is actually benefiting them over and over each coloring treatment. So now let's meet the new shades. We've got 7 new shades that I'm so excited about. I've been playing with them since they launched in Italy, and we've been really wanting a series in the 10 series, level 10s. So they added to this family with 7 new shades, and first we'll start with the 10.1. That's considered an extra light blonde with an ash tone to the end. So it's a level 10 ash. And then on top of it, we added a 10.2, which is an extra light blonde. And the 10.2 is so beautiful because you actually got a little bit of that, I would say, a little violet reflection to it. And the 10.2 is ideal for anyone that you really want to kind of veer away from any of those yellowish tones, where the 10.1 is really going to help you when you're working with neutralizing orange and yellowish reflections. Now the 10.21 is a perfect opportunity when it's a lavender series, and it's really ideal for cooling, turning off the yellowish orange tones. This is a beautiful way to not only, obviously you can mix all of these, but when you're lifting and you want to tone, but you're also wanting to revitalize the hair fabric, this is perfect because you're able to control a lot of the yellowish and orange tones at that level. Now the 10.31, that's more of our level 10 beige series, and I consider that in our desert sand series. Now the secondary reflection is very great when you're working with a reflection of not only gold, but a little bit of control in the ash. So this is the series that makes it possible to really obtain not only bright natural golds, with the cold secondary reflection being that ash. So it's refining that and controlling the volume there. So then our 10.32, that's part of our new caramel series, but at a level 10. So this can be a warm series, but it can also have a little bit of that cool tone being that point with the 2. So you've got a gold, almost violet. So you can control a lot of that gold as well. And it has just a little bit of the gold, but it really has like a nice softness to it. Next, we have the 8.32. Now, this is a gorgeous way to go in and add lowlights. It's part of our caramel series, but at a level 8. So once again, it has a little bit of a cold reflection after the gold. So the gold being your 0.3, and then the 2 being that control with the yellow, with those gold tones to it. So it's a wonderful way to go into pre-lighten hair and add back in some really pretty caramel lowlights. Now we added a 5.66, which is our double red, and that's in our Cayenne series. So the Cayenne series makes it possible to really give you intense, bright reds. Now this being at a level 5, and the 5 is our background of red anyway. So this can be a gorgeous, very intense red for you in the new H Nectar shades. So 7 new shades we asked, they gave. These are just beautiful to add to the new line, to our H Nectar line. So let's talk a little bit about how to understand the numbers in the H Nectar series. So the first number being your level. So here you see on the screen a level 8. And then after the decimal, you've got the 0.32. So that's 60% gold and 40% of your more of your irisé, or kind of a violet. So 60-40 split after the decimal. First number is your level. So we've already had some natural series in our opportunities with the H Nectar series. So you see here we have all of the naturals. And those all start at a level 3 and go all the way up to 9. So 3.0, 4.0, 5. These are all perfect when you want to cover gray. So let's say I have 50% gray. 50% of my formula should be part of the natural series, or the 0.0. These will blend all of your natural gray reflex. And once again, let's talk about the coverage using the H Nectar series, because the H Nectar series has been known to be more of a sheer reflection. Some call it translucent. I prefer not to call it translucent because that means it doesn't cover typically. However, this just really makes the fabric of hair look like hair without that heavy, opaque, flat muteness to it. So these are just very reflective. They make the hair look like very beautiful, shiny reflections. And streams through naturally. That hair looks very natural when you work with the H Nectar series, and you're also treating that hair. So someone that's got very fuzzy, or the curls are starting to dissipate, or they just have really gone, their hair's been through shock from past ammoniated hair colors. This is a great way to refurbish that hair fabric back to a beautiful shiny state that's natural and reflective. Let's talk about the Norse series. These are very cool tones, being the 0.1. So they're great when neutralizing orange or yellow reflections. And those all start at the 0.1 series, starting at a level 4. So we have the 4.1. We skip to a 6.1. And if you mix the 4.1 and 6.1 together in equal parts, you'll get a level 5.1 ideally. Then we jump up to an 8.1, so a level 8 ash, and then we have a 9.1. The 9.1 is a gorgeous toning opportunity as well. So anytime you're lifting and you want to really go back in and refresh that hair and tone it a little bit, or change that reflect, you've got the 9.1, which is a perfect position to be in, having that opportunity. So then we have the cinnamon series, which is our 0.34 series. So the first reflect, 60% gold and 40% of your copper. These are great, they're very rich and spicy, but they have this beautiful, nice copper reflect to them. The gold always picks up a little bit more of that copper. So the cinnamon series is a perfect description for these. So slightly copper, intense, warm. Moving on to our coffee series. The coffee series gives you very, it's got the gold reflect first, and this is a very classy look. It comes in a level 6, so it will ideally give you a nice copper red, but it's just a very perfect way to refresh your mids and ends, especially at a level 6 that wants to have the warmth up to it, and it's just a beautiful blending opportunity there. Now we've got the Burgundy series. So our Burgundy series it's a shade of red with touches of purple, which is sort of like a Burgundy wine. And it has, the Burgundy series can be very intense, but they come in a level 5 and a level 7. Then we have our Midnight Blue series. This is like our blue-black. It's very deep. It has a lot of intensity to it. I like to add just a drop of it if I'm trying to cool something off, because there is such a nice amount of blue in that. And that 1.8 is a beautiful blue-black. Very, very, very shiny. So we have our 0.9 series. Now our 0.9 series is interesting because it almost has a coolness to it, and it's a very sophisticated type of brown. So it's ideal for turning off warm reflex. So if you see the 5.9 on the chart, it looks warm, but when you plot it on the color wheel, it actually has a coolness to it. So it can control your warmth. So it comes in a level 5 and a level 7. So then that brings me to our Wheat series, which is the 0.3. So that is more like a gold. And the Wheat series has basically a lot of warm reflection to it, but it can intense the hair's natural pigment as well. So really gives the skin tone a lot of nice reflection. And it just brings, like, for example, I use the 8.3 on white hair, and it has that nice softness to it, but it also makes women that are maybe aging really bright in their skin tones as well. So it brings that natural melanin back into the skin as well, and that glow. So then we have our Desert Sand series. This is our almost like a beige. So we have a 0.31, and that's going to have some bright natural golds to it with the cold secondary reflect there. So that helps to hold on and control the warmth. So it's a perfect beige. Our Saffron series, our double copper, 0.44. This is a very nice, natural type of bright reflect with the double copper, super shiny, and it's a gorgeous way to bring a nice copper. I also like to mix this with the 0.34 series. It kind of tones it down a little bit, but keeps it intense as well. Our 0.77 Blueberry series. This is someone who wants a nice intense purple. It comes in a level 4 and a level 6. So our Blueberry double 7 is a double violet. The Caramel series, a 0.32. It's a warm series, but it also has a little bit of cold tone too with the number 2 there after the decimal. The Caramel series is a beautiful way to kind of control the warmth, especially when you're looking at orange or gold. It's a nice way to also add in a low light. So your 0.32 has just been added. So that's a level 10. You can really cool off things, or it's a perfect toner ideally. Then the Lavender series, 0.21. We've just added that. So another great toning opportunity. So cool down some of the yellowish orange tones there as well. So for those of you who have never experienced the Hnectar, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the mix and the timing and what to expect when you're working with this. This is a coloring treatment, restructurizing that hair. So those of you just joining me, this is a great way to give a nice natural sheer reflection to the hair. You can use it to tone. You can use it to get 3 levels of lift. There are 41 shades now that all can be blended together for whatever formula choice you like. And it's going to, while you're using it, not only respect the hair fiber, but actually regenerate, replump, and re-energize that hair fabric for you. So when you're working with it, the nice part is if you're already currently working with the Oway H color, you don't need to buy a ton of new developers. You can use the same developers, the H Catalyst system, from 9 volume all the way to 40 volume. But you are always going to mix this in a 1-to-1 ratio. So you can use 20, 30, 40 when you're working with a new growth, or you want to do a nice retouch. You can use any of those depending on how much lift or such that you need, and it is a 1-to-1 ratio. Virgin hair, you see again, you can use 20, 30, or 40 volume. You can use 9 as well for glossing. And then for anybody with real resistant gray, You can still use the 20, 30, or 40 volume. But then here you'll see opportunities to tone or over pre-lightened hair using either the 9 or the 20 volume. And then lastly, tone on tone, refreshing mids and ends, toning hair that you've pre-lifted. That's going to be using your 9 volume. So equal parts, and then the recommended timing is 30 to 40 minutes. One thing I will tell you from experience is that because of all of the sugars from the nectars in the formulation, as it's oxidizing and processing, the hair will look dark. So that's something from a user point of view that I want to educate you on right away out the gate, is when you see it on the hair and it is oxidizing, it will appear to look dark. For example, I used an 8.0 with an 8.3 on a client that had 100% white hair, and the hair did look like a level 8.5, 9 when I was through, and a nice golden reflect definitely helped with the hair fabric deeply inside where the chains of protein and moisture were needed to be replumped and re-energized. So the hair was easy to blow out and beautiful. However, when it was on, it looked almost dark green. So I had to trust the process. I stuck with my 30-minute timing. Maximum would have been 40 minutes, but I went with 30 minutes with this particular client, and it looked like a beautiful level 8 when I was done. No heat is required, nor necessary, nor recommended. So it's just sitting at room temp, just sitting in your salon chair, and your client will be done after maximum 40 minutes. You cannot add the hypercolor drops because the way this processes, that will not assist you in any way to speed up the process. The Hnectar formulation is meant to be on for 30 to 40 minutes, and then at the end of that time, when you take them over to your shampoo bowl, you're going to add a little bit of lukewarm water and then turn the water off and go ahead and emulsify the remaining mix while you're working it off the mids and ends. So it's a true emulsification. Mids and ends get that color pushed into the hair fabric a little bit further and off of the ends. From there, you'll add some additional water and continue to emulsify until the water is clear and the hair is clear of any of the remaining product. From there, once you're done and you know that the hair has properly been emulsified and all the remaining Hnectar has been removed from the hair, then you will want to apply the H-Balance shampoo and condition with the H-Balance mask. That's going to bring the hair back down to the proper pH, seal in the hair color into the hair where it's fully oxidized. And from there, you can go ahead and spray the H Restore, which is our vegetable protein spray, and go ahead and style. So once again, no heat source required. Make sure that the product is evenly distributed to the hair fabric. You don't need a ton of product, just make sure that it's evenly saturated. When you're working with 30% white hair, you can just go in right away with your shade and it's going to pick up and reflect that shade. But if it's over 30% white or a gray hair, you would want to mix in one of your 0.0 natural color bases, and then you can add in your reflect from there. So increasing the percentage of that natural 0.0 base color will decrease any of the highlights at that you add in reflect. So keep that in mind too when you're coming up with your formulas. Well, briefly, I want to kind of mention the system to you. If you've got someone with very resistant refractory hair types, you can use or start your color service using the H-Tech clarifying shampoo. This is a very delicate way to cleanse the hair and make sure that there's zero buildup left on the hair when you're about to color using such a delicate coloring treatment, such as the Hnectar. It'll help prepare the hair for that. And really, because of the pH, it's going to help to soften that hair so that the color pigment's easily absorbed. So it's going to gently remove any styling products, impurities, soften the hair because of the pH. Next, I mentioned the H Restore, which is our vegetable protein integrating spray. Very concentrated way to restore protein and amino acids to the hair type, but it's very light and it's also suitable for all hair types. It's going to actually get inside and rebuild all of that hair structure, which color is attracted to. So if you've done this part of the service, you've got color attracting protein and protein attracted to color. And so you've got a beautiful marriage inside that hair fabric, which is going to help with color longevity. So it's also a perfect way to equalize the porosity of the hair fabric that you're about to color. So before color, you can actually spray this through, and it's going to help with the porosity and help to make sure that your color is evenly saturated throughout that hair fabric. I mentioned closing the service after you've emulsified the H nectar from the hair using our H Balance shampoo. This is going to help rebalance the pH after the color, bringing it back to a way to seal in that color into under the hair cuticle into the cortex of the hair, and also helps to improve the hair fiber each time you're working with it. From there, the H Balance mask is the way to condition, detangle the hair, give it back the correct pH levels, and help to seal that cuticle down properly. It's very moisturizing, and it also has an antioxidative effect to it. So working with these on your back bar, perfect way, especially if you haven't really started with any of the other aftercare shampoos and baths and masks from the H system, or excuse me, from the Oway system. So this is a nice way to start with the line if you haven't built up your back bar, but these are a perfect way to seal the cuticle and the color into the hair fabric while nourishing and rebalancing the hair too. So in review, we asked Oway to come up with some additional toning level 10s and some perfect bright reds and a nice level 8 caramel type of color. So they did that, and they've added the 7 shades to our current selection, or all the families that we currently had. So now there are 41 beautiful shades that can be used alone or also blended together. So you have a lot of opportunities to give your clients desired shades with a very bright reflective coverage, similar to that of BB cream versus a foundational makeup. They come in 2-ounce bottle, 60 ml bottles. And you really don't need a whole lot. So they do spread very, very well through the hair. And we consider them a coloring treatment, restructurizing that hair each time you use them. So someone that's maybe gone through a lot of hair loss, maybe chemo, this is a great way to reintroduce them to hair color, but in a very beneficial, healthy way. Because it's also going to plump that hair up and give it long-lasting hydration, which is great for elasticity and shine. You can lighten 2 to 3 shades depending on the developer choice you use. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. No heats necessary or recommended. So it's just, you know, easy coloring service to do as well. And so each time you use it, your clients are going to just love. In fact, my clients tend to say, "You've made me look younger with this service." So I'm in the business of making people beautiful and younger each time they come visit me. So this is a great benefit for me and my salon. It's a 2-in-1 service, so you're refining color and restructuring that hair. You can customize color treatments for your clients that they can't get anywhere else. And you can feel comfortable offering a very healthy opportunity with this and green chemistry formulation. They're free of ingredients such as the toxic ammonia, PPD, and resorcinol. So I have a feeling there's going to be a ton of questions, and I did want to say that I did mention earlier that I was going to talk a little bit about adding in the H melt drops to the H nectar, and you can do this with either the H nectar or the H color. But since we're on the topic of H nectar today, the H melts can be added to intensify any of your tones. So let's say you wanted to add or control some blue to maybe make a nice fashion color, or you need to intensify the blue in your formula just so it controls more of the orange. You can add in the H melt drops to that. To do so, we have them in an array of colors, such as we have red energy, which can intensify all your red shades, and so on. So you can add just a few drops, or you can add a dropper fulls to make the more intense shades bright and pop. So it is a perfect way to also make a lot of colors you hadn't before. So when we didn't have quite all the level 10s that we have today, that we're launching today, we used to add some of the H melts to like level 9.0 to make toners. So now they've made a lot of them for us, but you can also increase that in any of your color choices as well using the H melt drops. So I know we've got some new packages that we'll be offering to you for the H Nectar so that you can start playing with these, offering them to your clients and showing them that how the hair can feel once they've worked with something that's so moisturizing and beneficial to the hair fabric time after time. So I know I talked to you earlier about all of the target customers that you can offer this to. So don't forget to start trying new things, and you really should be charging appropriately for this service because you're not just toning hair. You know, it's super beneficial to anybody that's pre-lighten their hair, and now you're going to work with a toner to actually consider what fiber you have that you're working with now, because if you've bleached and now you're ready to tone that hair, wouldn't it be better if we had something that's actually refurbishing that hair fabric as well? So you're not just toning. I mean, anyone could just work with a toner. But now that you're taking it and elevating this into a new holistic manner, you've got something that works with the hair fabric to regenerate that hair and while giving it that sparkly fashion effect. So very beautiful opportunity to start adding to your service menu and really giving your customers something that they can walk away feeling super beautiful and that you've customized a color treatment just for them. So I think it's a little more of an advanced technology so that you're able to start working with something that's truly advanced and start charging for it as well. I have a feeling we have a lot of questions, so if you'll go ahead and start asking some of those questions in the questions box, I'd love to answer them. So let's see. Dripping while processing. You really shouldn't have any drip, so if you're working with something that's dripping, it may be overly saturated. Or it might be very, very hot in the room you're working with. I would suggest maybe ensuring that you've taken the bottles and rocked them so that all of the nectars and oils are working together in there, so that it's not separating on you. So that's what I would say there, because you really shouldn't have any drip with this line. Adding H screen. I would not add the H screen into this. I think it changes the consistency, and also working with something that's already very, very super safe or conditioning and soothing for the scalp. You shouldn't need to add the H screen unless you're adding it to the ears and around the hairline just to prevent any staining. That's the way I would use it there. So when toning, does the hair need to be dry? That's sort of a question. It's a great question. There's different ways. I mean, different applications and different results. So typically when I'm working with any toner type, I go ahead and squeeze all of the excess moisture out of the hair, and I will then tone from there. Now, if you're only trying to shift the tone, you can do that at the shampoo bowl while you've taken out most of the excess moisture and go directly over it. There are times when I really need to not only tone, but I really need to make that toner last. So when I'm wanting to work with a toner that's not just shifting a tone, but truly toning or glossing, that's when I actually go on dry hair or almost 100% dry, slightly damp, and I do it for the full 30 minutes because that's when I'm going to get the longevity out of a toner, when it's done for the proper timing that's needed. I've had clients and myself say it itches and sensitizes more than H color. I just want to make sure H screen won't affect performance. You know, I haven't worked with H screen being involved in this because I just feel that it's so soothing. I haven't had that same concern. However, that might be a concern some of your clients are having when they're working with something. You may want to look at the ingredients with them and see what they might be having sensitivity to. I certainly haven't heard that myself, so I'm not certain how to answer you there. It just, if there's a lot of customers, maybe it's the developer choice. It could be, I suppose. So that might be what you want to look at first. I'm not exactly sure because I find it's a lot more soothing, to be honest with you. Can I get the benefits of this color to share with clients and advertise? Absolutely. I definitely suggest it. I also suggest mentioning things on your social media posts that you're doing. Take pictures of your work, show the before and afters, because it's a very obvious before and after when you can see the shine and the reflection from these tones and these shades from being so multifaceted. And because you're actually working and showing the hair fabric, it's got that sheer brightness to it versus something heavy and matte. So you'll see it in the pictures. So the benefits definitely we can obviously I'll always share with you so that you can, you know, plump this up to your clients and share with them the whys behind it. Because, you know, truly when you're working with something that's not just toning or not just glossing or not just covering gray, and you're charging a little more for it because it is so high end, and the whys behind it, you definitely want to make sure you mention that when you're talking to your clients about what you're working with. So have the new lighter colors come out yet? Yes, we just are launching them today. That's our level 10 series, the 10.1, 10.21. We have a 10.2, 10.32, and a 10.31, along with the level 8.32 and the 5.66. So would you recommend going up a level when toning? Um, I always tone on level, because if I'm truly trying to tone something, that means I'm trying to negate something else. If I'm merely trying to shift a little bit of a tone, maybe I would consider going a level up, but I always tone on level of what I'm working with. So if I've lifted them to a level 8, I use a level 8. Lifted them to a level 9, I tone with a level 9. But, you know, that's all in our eye as well as what we're looking at. You really need to get very specific when you're looking at hair fabric and levels, because I know a lot of people just kind of glance at it and think, oh, that looks like a level 9, and it's truly a level 8, and they didn't get what they were after in their final result. And that's with any hair color line. I always recommend toning on level. I think it's truly important. If that's the reason you're working with a toner, then you should be using an on level choice when working with it. Can you add the H milk? You could use the H milk in between lightening and then using this as a toner, and that would be a beautiful option for combability, for additional moisture, for slip and shine and feel to the hair fabric. But I would not add it into your color if that's what you're asking, because it's just going to dilute it down. Now, you can, of course, use the H milk to customize a developer choice. So if you're trying to make a level 20 because you're out of it, you can equal parts mix H milk and the H catalyst 30 volume. And that's how you'd make that 20. So that's one way you can use the H milk. Is there an intro kit for the new colors? We have a new kit, a blonding kit that we put together. We also have another introductory kit, and then the Mac Daddy kit where you get one of everything. So do you prefer to tone on dry or wet hair? Once again, it kind of depends what I'm working with and what result I'm after. I've done both ways. I never would consider the hair wet, though. If anything, it's towel dried and the moisture is primarily squeezed out, because I also want the evenness of the product. So just really depends. Dry hair, you're going to absorb a lot more because there's nothing in it to keep it out. It just kind of depends on what I'm after, truly. But I never do wet hair. It might be towel dried, slightly damp, but it just depends on the porosity of that hair type too. And I want to make sure it's even from root to end. Do we have to buy a whole new swatch book to get new swatches? No, I do believe we've got some packages that if you purchase, like I believe the blonding package, you'll get the new swatches. So no, we have some opportunities for you there. So you do not need to, that would be too wasteful, and we're an eco company. So I noticed a screenshot icon, too late. Can I get those slide pages otherwise? Sure, Michael, if you let us know what you're missing, we can certainly share with you whatever slides. This also will be played again for you within 24 hours. This is recorded today live, but you will have an opportunity to review it again later, just for anything you may have missed. Where is this product made? It is made in Bologna, Italy, where we have the biodynamic farming and all of the beautiful natural ingredients grown. And then we work with a steam distillation process and our chemistry labs there in Italy. So the finest pigments possible we work with, as well as the best ingredients. And of course, we stick to our standards of not working with ammonia and other nasty elements or ingredients. How much would you charge for a standalone tone with this product? It kind of depends, of course, what demographic you're in, truly, but you have to always consider the price of your time. So whatever you charge for your time, for example, if it's $1 a minute, you want to embed that in your service price, as well as the cost for the product. So how much are you having to use? You can divide that into the amount, the ounces that you're working with, and so forth. Now, the one huge thing I didn't mention when I was talking about mixing and formulating and processing and to all of that, you certainly want to use a scale, because accuracy is the best form of professional service in this industry. And people that don't use a scale to do their formulas are just sort of playing it by ear. So you really want to, if you want to get the best results possible and accurate, you don't want to, you always want to use a scale. You don't want to ever switch from that, because you need to know how much is matching each, because having the right amount of catalyst to help the oxidation of the pigments inside that hair fabric is the most important to get the results you're after every time. So where's the corporate office here in the US? Well, Simply Organic Beauty is here in Florida, and that's where I'm live today, but typically on the road, of course. But today I decided to come in live for you in Florida. It's beautiful here right now. We're waiting for some rain, I suppose, but we are here in Florida. And in fact, once again, we've got all of those educational opportunities that I mentioned coming in October. October 7th, we have the Oway H Color and H Nectar Level 1 course here that you can take. We'll do a workshop, we cater in a lunch and so forth. So you can come and visit us and meet us in person here at our corporate office at Simply Organic Beauty in Florida, if you'd like, for October 7th. And then we're following it up on the 8th with an Oway Care and Treatments class. That's a new one that we're bringing to you to kind of close out 2018 and start looking into 2019 for a lot of different educational opportunities as well. So someone's saying 9 volume with this has lifted too much for me, and to gray blend a level 6, ending up very warm and lightened instead of seamlessly blending. Could H milk be used to truly get no lift? Well, yes, you could definitely mix in the H milk to kind of bring down the 9 volume. Now, anytime you're working with hair fabric, I don't care if you're working with this line or any other line, but finer hair types that may not have a lot of cuticle mass, you can see lift. You will expose underlying tones in the hair fabric. So you would see warm, lightened hair. And I have had that happen, especially with fine to medium hair types at a level 6. So certainly you can mute that down by mixing in the H milk to buffer that 9 vol. And then, yes, you should get a seamless, no lift type of hair color experience. So, and of course, no heat necessary. You just want to process at room temperature, and go ahead and make sure that you process for the 30 minutes versus 40. That's my suggestions there. So if you have other questions, please type them in the comments box. We're doing a live Q&A right now. This is being recorded so that you can see the actual slides later, but this is a great opportunity to catch me while I'm live and get all your questions answered so that you can jump into working with the new H. Nectar or any of the past families that are currently part of the line. So you can start seeing what customers might really benefit from having this. I mentioned anyone with hair loss or damaged hair types. This is a great way to customize hair color for those clientele, and start to apply this treatment and coloring treatment into your service menu at your salons. Do you feel you get full gray coverage when mixing 0.0 and other colors mixing equally? I do, Karen. I have a lot of clients that are 100% white, but they have that very frizzy, fuzzy type of coarse gray. And I get a beautiful seamless level 8 blonde on most of those ladies that I've been doing a lot of blonding for them because I like to do those. It depends on, of course, their eye color and the rest of that, but it's a perfect way to add enough color integrated in, but make the hair still feel and look natural. So it's a seamless kind of coloring treatment that I can do for them while actually benefiting that hair fabric and making it soft and shiny and very easy for them to style. There I may leave that on for 40 minutes, but I also have to remind myself that it could look dark on the hair as well while it's processing. But yes, I do feel like I get 100% gray coverage, but it is more of a sheerness to it. So I can see the fabric of the hair underneath versus something very heavy and opaque. So depending on what type of gray coverage you're after, I keep mentioning, it's sort of the comparison between BB cream and foundational makeup. You're getting coverage with both, but it's just a different coverage. With the timing limits of H. Nectar, is it possible to use in foils, high or low lights? I mean, it really depends. If you're putting highlights in, you want to adjust your developer choice with the bleach, let's say, so that you know that you're able to take everything out at the same time. You may just, depends on how fast you work, but it really should not be on any longer than 40 minutes max. When adding in the H melt drops to the H nectar, would you take that additional amount from the H melt drops into consideration when mixing the developer? Yeah, I mean, it shouldn't be that much more. I don't think it's going to weigh your scale that much more, but yes, I typically match. I'm so excited for the 7 new shades. Hi, Kai. But they're coming out more new shades in the future. If I'm looking for something I can use like a 10.0, even lighter shades than 9.0 H Nectar, still neutral. Which new 10 shade would be good to use, or are they coming out with a 10.0 in the future? I think that the 10.1 looks super neutral to me, because as at a level 10, you really don't have a ton of pigment anyway. So I hope that they continue to come out with more shades because I'm in love with the H Nectar line and what it does for the hair fabric that I'm working with. And I am able to charge accordingly for actually coloring and treating hair. My toners, I think that it's a very expensive and awesome service to offer my clients that I'm toning anyway, because when you're toning hair, you've already pre-lightened it and it can feel a little bit, the fabric can often feel a little bit not so pretty, right? So when I work with this series, instead of just toning the color in the hair, I'm actually treating it. So I'm able to really offer them something, an experience that no one else can. Sure, I'd love for them to continue to add. I'd love for them to make them in larger bottles. These are all things that OA listens to us, quite honestly. We get to meet with them on the constant. We talk to their chemists all the time. We bring these suggestions to them, and just like we brought this suggestion to them of having a level 10, they've come out with all of these new shades for us. So I look forward to having more opportunities in the future. And like I said, this is a very transparent company and brand that we're working with, which is why we think that they're so amazing to bring under the Simply Organic Beauty umbrella. But I do hope that they come out with an additional 10.0. But in the meantime, I do find that the 10.1 or any of the 10 series are really where it's at, because I'm typically trying to neutralize something at that level anyway. And they being a level 10, there's not a ton of pigment in there anyway because it is so light. And Andy Catone in Southern Florida is sharing with you all as well that he charges 40 for Nectar toner. So those of you asking pricing questions, that might be something you want to reflect on, because 40 is a great toning with an H Nectar because of all the things it's doing, infusing that color, treating that hair, helping with hair loss, and so on and so forth. So are the new light colors only for toning, or can they be used to lighten, say, lift a 6 to a 10 with 40 volume? I don't think I'd start with a level 6 for that, because you're really getting like 2 to 3 levels of lift out of even with the 40 volume. So I would say if they're more like a level 7, 8, yes, you could certainly do that. Keeping in mind, it's about the thickness or density of the hair type of fabric as well, because anything that has a ton of melanin in it and you're having to lift out all of that melanin, if it's thick and a lot of that, then you may still see residual warmth at a level 10 even, and that's when you may want to work with maybe the 9.1 or something of that nature to do the same thing. Yeah, and Andy even shares with you something that's truly important. When you're working with your clients, this line is about educating. I mean, you're not just going to go in the back room and slap a toner on anymore. I mean, this is about actually working with the clients that you're attracting, because they want to know. Typically, being in the holistic hair tribe, you're attracting clients that are looking for a different experience than what they've ever had, where they're walking into a beauty salon that has a lot of toxic fumes, and they want to know the whys. I mean, these are educated customers that we're getting in our chairs all the time, and they want to hear what you're working with. They want to know what sets you apart. They want to know that you're working with a coloring treatment that's restructurizing their hair ever since that first application. And so knowing the why and really becoming a thinking hairdresser or stylist, it not only gives that feeling of comfort for the client that you're working with, but they want to know. And then that's how they spread the word better too, is if they understand what you're doing, you're not just hiding behind a color bar anymore. And so this line is about educating. So thank you for sharing that, Andy. And I see Ernest is asking if it's vegan. Yes, it's cruelty-free and vegan. Thank you. So anyone else wanting to share with the masses here of these great holistic hairdressers that we have joined us all the way from Ireland, Canada, Florida, everywhere. So it's exciting to see all of the people joining us from all over the world on these webinars and all of our educational platforms. So please continue to follow us. Join the tribe if you haven't already. It's a great place to see other beautiful work. There's a lot of stylists in the forum right now watching this webinar today that I learned from on the regular, because they have done such beautiful, dramatic work using this brand and using our other brands to really make hair fabric beautiful and to excite and ignite our industry. We get stagnant in color in our color world, and having an opportunity to really refurbish, blend shades, respect that hair fiber while coloring it, as well as it's really it's exciting to be a part of it and to see so many stylists and unite with each and every one of you. So I see someone also asking right now. Sorry, I did not quite get what is the H melt good for. H melt drops are going to enhance shades, so you can use them to brighten shades, make them more pop more, like the reds and so forth, or you can use them to neutralize. So you want to cool off something, you might want to add some of the green harmony to, but remember, anytime you add cool tones, you need probably less when you're controlling things, because they can take and drab down your formula by even a level. Will they be changing the plugs and color bottles to make it easier to remove? I have to use a needle nose pliers to remove these, and it can take 5 minutes sometimes. I don't know that. I know it's what seals in the product so that it doesn't oxidize on you and actually stays very very mixed inside that bottle. You know, I truly want to remind you guys all to shake or rock those bottles. Get all of that inside together, mixed fluidly for you. So make sure you do that. Make sure that you seal those bottles so nothing oxidizes. It's very, very important. Um, so I can definitely mention that, Karen. I don't know that answer for you. So I have a level 7 that I lighten with a 9.1 and 30 volume, and it comes out beautiful, but a bit more gold than intended. Will the new colors help a bit there? Absolutely. Especially if you're working with shades of level 10. I would still say maybe 9.1. You can always add some of the H melt, like a tiny, tiny bit of the H melt to that too. But that might be where you do want to lighten the shade, like maybe working with a 10.1. But you have to be very careful not to overwhelm the formula, or else you'll get a bright fashion color that you weren't expecting either. Andy's busy at the salon on a Monday. Well, good for you, child, because Mondays are a great day to build your business because nobody else is open. Sundays too. Not that I ever want to work a Sunday, but I seem to do it anyway. So, yes, we are replaying this within 24 hours, so you'll have an opportunity to catch all of this then again too, Andy. So keep doing some beautiful hair. Karen would love to get some marketing tips and key points. Came from a highly advertised salon to now having to do it all my own. I've taken lots of notes. Thank you for the in-depth info. You're absolutely welcome, and thank you for joining today, Karen. We have so much. My marketing department is one of the best I've ever worked with, and I come from a marketing background. And there's so much that we can share with you to make it easy for you so that you can easily highly advertise your own space now, because even though you're doing it on your own, we're here to help build your business, coach you through it. You have an account manager that's constantly able to send you images, send you content, send you looped videos so that you can play them at your salon. So and we have so many ideas for you. You know, if you have any health food stores in your area, grab one of the little magazines, those free magazines at the front, and go to the front page. There's the editors are in there, and all of the advertising partners listed with their email addresses. And if you reach out to them and mention who you are and what you're working with and what you're doing in our beauty industry, they always need stories. And I would guess that they would call you and actually ask to do a story on you. So that's free advertising right there. And so we have so many of those ideas, Karen. Happy to help you, coach you through building your business accordingly, because I know what it's like to come from a busy salon that was marketing left and right and having to feel like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do that all myself? But we're here to help, and we have so many ideas. This is one of the best marketing departments I've ever worked for. So very creative and so many ideas. So certainly help you there. We also have summer school webinars from last year that are on the YouTube channel. So you might want to check those out. Just type in Simply Organic Summer School. And you should find us on the YouTube channel, or your account manager can send you the links as well. And that has a lot of great information on how to market yourself, how to work on your own, in your, whether it's in a large space or solo and renting a chair. So or booth rental, whatever it is. So happy to help there, certainly. Will H melt darken the levels? Well, certainly will if you're using something like Green Harmony. And blues typically will darken a level as well, depending on how much you use. So keep that in mind for sure. So I mean, there's some of the golds, they'll just add shine, especially to darker levels. And Tyler's agreeing that Sundays are great business days. I had one stylist, she worked just on Sundays while she had another job just to build her book before she dove straight into a full-time schedule with the salon. And she built really fast. Within the year, she was booming. So you're welcome, Karen. So any other questions based on H melt? Excuse me, H Nectar, the new shades, the current families that we offer. You can get 100% gray coverage. It's going to have a sheer reflective quality. It's going to refurbish that hair fabric for you each time. It's going to get more and more luminous. These are it's almost like adding a 2-for-1 service in your salon. So you should be charging accordingly, and really having fun with these shades and targeting the customers that are going to really rejoice in the fact that you've offered them something that's replumping, regenerizing, and working without ammonia or any of those other toxic chemicals in the formulation. So, well, if there's no more questions, I'm sure if you think of any, I want you to see the screen I've got in front of you now. You can find us anytime at 888-213-4744. And we are constantly adding to the educational platforms. So if there's anything you need or have questions, we are all here to help you. We want to coach you and make the best of your business and help to make